Um, Josh, it's always when you have these financial kind of discussions, you have football up, basketball down, sometimes the other way around. But where would you say just the overall health of things is right now?
I think the department's healthy. Obviously from a budgeting standpoint, we were pretty aggressive on the football side of things. We thought we would see an uptick in sales there, and we did. On the basketball side, we knew that this was going to be another rebuilding year, so we were pretty conservative on our budgeting there. We're not going to meet the expectations that we had there. Obviously that's, as I say, a budget's a guess. And so we try to guess the best that we can. And we've got some opportunity in both of those sports to increase revenue in years to come, and so that's what we're going to try to do.
It's funny that winning costs money, and you wind up with expenses. You're paying bonuses to coaches you didn't know you'd have. You've got a bowl game that's always usually an expense for most schools anymore. But I guess that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I would definitely file that under good problems to have. And you go back to the way that Jeff's contract was structured. It was structured with the understanding or the hope that there would be some successes there, and the ability to compensate him and his staff for those successes. Bowl game, you never know. Obviously we get sent to, and I know it's not an ACC tie-in anymore, but you get sent to Nashville in the Music City Bowl. It's going to cost a heck of a lot less than going to San Diego in the Holiday Bowl. But always excited to go wherever we get a chance to go to. And so we know there's some expenses there. I think once again, from a budgeting, from an educated guest standpoint, we had some expenses there on the operating side that we weren't fully expecting, as Nick mentioned, on just little things like credit card payments and just staffing around having 2 record crowds, some things like that. Once again, good problems to have that I think we will obviously manage throughout the whole of the budget.
The basketball problems are not stuff you look forward to, but you knew that what the possibility could be depending on how the year went. Is there any way, I don't know, you win a few games, you get a few more fans. At this point, though, it is what it is, I would think.
Yeah, by and large, our ticket revenue is based on the seat donations and the season ticket members that we have. Obviously, there's some variability there in single games, but we don't have, from a budgeting standpoint, we don't do a ton there from a single game basis. So, once we have our season ticket revenue in, we have a really good handle on where it's going to land for football or basketball, women's basketball. And so, upside, downside there. I mean, basketball essentially is what it is right now.
Is that why I'm just, I'm looking at the document that showed the, the new prices proposed for season tickets? Like, is that part of the reason why, or is it just kind of trying to get like a consistent price with those?
Yeah, it's exactly what it's the same concept that we had with football. Sometimes we have, actually this year and next year is a really good example for football. So we had 7 games. I kind of call it 7.5 because we had the game in Indy. Next year we have 6, and then the year after that, right now we're planning on having 8 home games. And so that creates a lot of variability in our overall budget. You lose a football game, you increase by a football game, there's millions of dollars at stake there. So what we've said is, all right, what is the average number of games we've had in our recent history in football, and let's charge a consistent price for that year over year. And we're doing the same thing in basketball now. So we're saying, all right, it's usually 18 to 20 games. All right, so what is the cost of that going to be consistently? Whether we go 18 or at 20, that cost is going to be the same for our season ticket holders.
Yeah. What's it like now, I guess, when you're adding teams, you guys took the bowl trip out to California, but now you're going to be playing, you'll be going there pretty frequently for tons of teams. What's that been like just in terms of starting to plan your budget for next year and the years to come?
Yeah, that was one of the big questions we had as the presidents and the athletic directors had discussions about adding these 3 institutions. What's the cost going to be as far as travel and expense playing these teams? And it's going to be there, but we're going to be generating more revenue with those teams coming into the league. So when you look at the ACC distribution, we feel like those are going to be covered through those increases.
I got to ask a men's basketball question. They're playing better, but they're still not getting over the hump. This is not a deal where you're just constantly evaluating, but you're watching like everybody else. how do you, how are your interactions with Kenny through the season, and what's your guys' communication like as they go through this?
Yeah, continuing to try to communicate and say, hey, what can we all do, individually or collectively, to get this program where we all expect it to be. I'm well aware that this program, this fan base, isn't into moral victories, and so after every game, I feel like every day, it's consuming what I'm doing right now, and I know it's consuming Kenny and his staff as far as how do we get better. How does this basketball program get back to where we all expect it to be? And that expectation is a high bar, but nobody's going to run from that, and we're going to do everything we can to get this program back where we all want and expect it to be.
As you're with like the players, and you're with them on a day-to-day basis, maybe stopping in to see practice, can you see like, is there any extra a pressure added to them, just kind of knowing you're going through this process?
Yeah. It's funny. I think we, as administrators, as coaches, as fans, I think we tend to overestimate how much they think about things. And I'm not trying to minimize everything around them, but they're college students. At the end of the day, they're college students, and they go to class, they play basketball, they have a personal life, all of those things. So as much as we possibly can, we try to make sure that none of this gets put on their plate. And for the most part, it's not on their plate. I mean, they're here to play basketball for the University of Louisville. They're trying to do everything that they can for this program to be successful. Is it there? Absolutely, it's there. But do they feel like this weight of, hey, if I don't win this game or that game? I don't think they feel that any more than they would any other season, quite honestly.